Welcome to DEF CON 3. I'm KT McFarland. The war in Afghanistan continues to garner headlines as violence rages on, but a new book by veteran turned author Elliot Ackerman hopes to share a different side of the conflict from a young Afghan's perspective. Elliot's book is called Green on Blue, and it's a novel, and he joins us now to discuss. Elliot, you're a Marine veteran. You were in Afghanistan. You were in Iraq. We've seen a round of really good novels coming out about the American heroes who fought in these wars, but you decided to turn the tables and write it from the perspective of a young Afghan who gets pulled into the fighting. Why did you do that?
Well, when I was in Afghanistan, I served as an advisor to Afghan troops. So, I fought alongside Afghans, and, these guys became my war buddies. But after I left, these were people I knew I'd never see again, so I couldn't friend them on Facebook or go get quarter beers with them at the local VFW. But again, we'd fought together, bled together, mourned friends together, so I wanted to tell their story. And in so doing, it was really a last act of friendship. And the book is about a young Afghan boy who goes off to fight, and it's his story.
When you see the situation now in Afghanistan, the United States is getting prepared to leave, what comes to your mind? As you point out, you fought and bled with these guys, and now you see a situation which is by no means secure. What comes through your mind?
I think the situation there right now is so fluid. I mean, in many respects, you could say the best thing that's happened to Afghanistan is ISIS, because it's shown this example in Iraq of what happens when there's a precipitous withdrawal of U.S. troops. And I think what we're seeing right now in the media and what's coming out of the administration is that the withdrawal is going to be a little bit slower in Afghanistan so that we don't see a similar situation mirrored there. The people I talk to who are still in Afghanistan are actually, although there's still a lot of violence, they're somewhat optimistic and think that the center might hold there.
As you point out, you fought in Afghanistan. You fought in Iraq during some of the fiercest fighting in Fallujah. When you look at now the efforts to retake Tikrit, to maybe go back into Mosul, do you have any advice for people who are fighting today?
Well, I would caution against any type of committal of U.S. troops. I think that what's going on in Iraq right now, it's not necessarily about the West. This is an existential crisis within Islam and amongst Sunni and Shia political groups. So, the assault on Mosul, I don't think it's a fait accompli. I don't think that the Iraqi government can necessarily push ISIS out into Mosul, and I think there's going to continue to be some harsh fighting in the days ahead.
In Iraq, we've seen you were there for the Anbar Awakening when the United States was able to rally the Sunni moderates, Sunni tribes to our side, and now today the fighting seems to be in a different variety, where you have Iraq largely influenced by Shiite Iran, the Sunni tribes that you worked with they're kind of on the sides, and the rise of ISIS. So is this a situation in the Middle East where everybody's just going to continue to fight everybody, switching sides every couple of years?
Well, I think the sides are certainly fluid, but what I hope to show in the novel is that people are products of their incentive structures. So during the Anbar Awakening, the Sunni sheiks were incented to cooperate with the U.S., and then when the U.S. pulled out, there was no incentive for them to continue to look to the West for political solutions in Iraq. So I think we're going to continue to see a lot of people shifting sides and a lot of people acting in ways that benefit their interests. But, we have to ask a question as a nation if that's a part of the world we want to continue to be deeply involved in, and whether or not that's in our national interests.
Well, Elliot, your book certainly is a unique look into the situation in Afghanistan and Iraq and in the entire region, and it's a very poignant, well-written novel, and obviously comes from the heart. So thank you so much for writing it, and we now are all going to go out and buy it, Green on Blue, a novel by Elliot Ackerman. Thanks for watching DEF CON 3, and if you want to find out more about the situation in ISIS, in Afghanistan, or anywhere in the world, go to foxnews.com.